Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are embarking on a really fascinating journey to translate some incredibly complex, cutting edge longevity science into something you can actually use right now. Our goal in this explainer is highly specific. We're going to build an actionable, clinical grade daily checklist designed to literally reverse accelerated organ aging risks. This isn't just about, adding a few more years to your life. It's about radically improving the quality of those years by fundamentally changing how your body operates right down at the cellular level. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our agenda for today. First, we'll cover your organ age clock. Second, Protocol 1, dietary adjustments. Third, Protocol 2, strategic exercise. Fourth, Protocol 3, deep sleep. And we'll wrap it all up with the daily longevity checklist. Starting off with Section 1, your organ age clock. We're going to explore the gap between your calendar age and your biological reality. So what if I told you the candles on your birthday cake have absolutely nothing to do with the actual biological age of your internal organs? Crazy, right? But thanks to some pretty incredible advancements in medical technology, we can now look right past the calendar. Scientists are actually using advanced blood protein analysis to reveal what's known as organ age gaps. Basically, this means we can measure exactly how much older or younger specific organs like your heart, your brain, or your kidneys are compared to your chronological age. And the data we're seeing is just staggering. Researchers have discovered that about 1 in 5 individuals is actually what they call an extreme ager for at least one of their major organs. Now, what's really interesting here is the stark contrast between what we simply cannot change and what we absolutely can. Your chronological age, that's fixed. It's just the inevitable passage of time on a calendar. But your organ age is a completely different story. It represents the actual physical health of your heart, your brain, your kidneys, and honestly, the most empowering takeaway from today's explainer is that your organ age is entirely malleable. With the right clinical interventions, accelerated organ aging is actually reversible. But let's be clear, the stakes here are incredibly high. Having a substantial gap between your calendar age and your organ age fundamentally dictates your future disease risk. The recent studies we're looking at show that accelerated heart agers are 5 times more likely to develop heart failure. Think about that. Meanwhile, those experiencing accelerated brain aging are far more likely to manifest Alzheimer's disease. Ultimately, leaving a gap between these two ages significantly increases mortality over a 15-year period. So we absolutely have to close that gap. Moving on to Section 2, Protocol 1, dietary adjustments. This is all about combating UPFs and rescuing our mitochondria. This first pillar focuses intensely on how the literal chemical makeup of our food impacts our mitochondrial function. Take the number 62%, for example. That represents the shocking increase in all-cause mortality linked to eating more than 4 servings of ultra-processed foods, or UPFs, per day. And, well, let's be honest, calling some of these things food feels pretty generous. They are largely industrially produced, totally unnatural substances engineered to just spike your blood glucose, raise insulin, and trigger dangerous body-wide inflammation. So let's break down exactly how to counter this. We've cleanly separated the dietary toxins from the mitochondrial rescuers. Think of the toxins, like UPFs, trans fats, fast-digesting carbs, and excessive sodium over 5 grams a day, as the villains. These are the agents spiking your glucose and actively destroying your metabolic health. But then we have your mitochondrial rescuers. These are the heroes, the compounds that literally repair cellular function. We're talking about olive oil, high-quality fiber, plant-based proteins, and a super fascinating amino acid called taurine. In fact, recent studies on taurine are showing some major health span benefits, including reduced fasting glucose and vastly improved mitochondrial function. And this brilliantly illustrates just how simple, targeted numbers can completely overhaul your health. If you manage to hit 25 to 30 grams of fiber, you are looking at a 15 to 30% reduced risk of mortality and disease. Just 7 grams of olive oil, guys, that is literally half a tablespoon daily, is tied to a 28% lower risk of dementia. Swapping in plant protein for just 3% of your daily calories drops cancer-related mortality by 40%. And for salt, simply substituting potassium chloride can significantly reduce hypertension. These aren't just little diet tips. These are daily medical interventions. All right, on to Section 3, Protocol 2, strategic exercise, the most potent medical intervention. For our middle-aged audience looking to really lock in their longevity, we need to completely reframe how we view physical activity. It is not a chore. To quote the clinical consensus directly from our source material, exercise is the single most effective medical intervention that we know. And why is that? Because it isn't just about burning off last night's dinner. Strategic exercise conditions your body to handle cellular stress, it improves your metabolic resilience, and it triggers massive, body-wide anti-inflammatory repair mechanisms that literally reverse the aging of your heart and muscles. So here is your exact 3-step weekly exercise prescription. Step 1 is super simple. Accumulate your daily walking steps. Step 2 is to commit to 60 minutes of resistance training per week. Interestingly enough, the data shows that 60 minutes is the optimal plateau for mortality reduction. So no, you don't need to live in the gym. You just need an hour a week of squats, push-ups, or band work. And step 3, work on your hand grip strength. It sounds niche, but it's actually an incredibly powerful prognostic metric for your overall longevity. Adding just 5 kilograms of grip strength makes a massive, highly measurable difference in your health span. And hey, about those steps. For years, people threw around that 10,000 steps myth, which actually just originated from a catchy 1960s marketing campaign. But the hard clinical data we have now shows that 8,800 steps a day is the precise clinical sweet spot. Hitting this daily target is linked to a massive 60% reduction in all-cause mortality. It is, quite simply, one of the absolute best things you can do for your cardiovascular system. Which brings us to Section 4, Protocol 3, Deep Sleep. Brain waste clearance and the 7-hour target. Okay, we have got to stop viewing sleep as just a passive state where you're resting. You really have to understand this specific mechanism, the glymphatic system. During the day, your brain cells accumulate a ton of metabolic waste, including toxic beta-amyloid and tau proteins. But when you enter stage 3, slow-wave deep sleep, your brain's glymphatic drainage network literally activates. Think of this process like your brain's night shift janitorial crew turning on a giant biological dishwasher. Fluid is pumped through the brain to physically wash away those toxic plaques that cause Alzheimer's and dementia. If you cut your sleep short, you're basically shutting off the dishwasher mid-cycle. This contrast is vital, especially for a middle-aged demographic dealing with insomnia. On one hand, healthy, natural deep sleep, hitting that optimal 7-hour target, provides efficient glymphatic waste clearance. On the other hand, we have a very stark warning about taking benzodiazepine sleep aids. They actually backfire. While they might feel like they knock you out, they chemically suppress your stage 3 slow-wave sleep. They essentially lock that janitorial crew out of the building, completely shutting down your waste disposal system. Over time, that suppressed clearance is directly associated with a heightened risk of Alzheimer's disease. Finally, Section 5, the Daily Longevity Checklist, your clinical protocol. We've covered the science, we've covered the mechanisms. Now get ready to mentally check off these daily items, because this is your ultimate blueprint to optimize your health span. First, rigorously protect exactly 7 hours of natural, unmedicated sleep nightly to ensure your glymphatic system clears out those brain toxins. Second, completely ditch the ultra-processed foods and keep your daily sodium intake well under 5 grams. Third, deliberately consume 25 to 30 grams of high-quality fiber and a half tablespoon of olive oil every single day to rescue your mitochondria. Fourth, aim for that clinical sweet spot of 8,800 steps a day. And finally, complete 60 minutes of resistance training every week to maintain your metabolic resilience. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to remember the most important takeaway of all. Time is going to pass regardless. Your chronological age is totally fixed. But as we've seen today, the biological age of your heart, your brain, and your internal organs is wonderfully, powerfully malleable. You've got the checklist. You know the science. So I'll leave you with this. What will you do today to turn back your biological clock?